guest cam 2. Big old guest cam. You are. I wonder why I did that. Oh, that's why. Okay. So let's try. Oh, can you see it? Okay, cool. Oh, that's the old one. That was the test. So let me see. Profile. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Rebuffering. I mean, as long as it's not copyrighted. Yeah, then we're in really big trouble. Oh, gosh. And you can't hear any of that? Me listening to Twitch? Okay, that's what I thought. I wonder... Okay, I need to shut that off. I'm annoying myself. Uh-oh. I can't hear you. On Twitch. That's what I was really testing for. All right. How do I do the share screen? Because I want to change it from side by side to just you when I'm looking at you. What if I do stop video? No, that doesn't do anything. Because right now it's just like the top corner of your hat is showing. Oh wait, it's because I didn't do this. There we go. Do you see it now? Because I have to get you in there. I hate having to research this. I feel like Streamlabs and Twitch should have this for me. Like a class or something. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Plenty of map. All right. You watching it live? Oh, I need to get you your sound. Here we go. I didn't have the desktop sound up. I was thinking, what if we need music or something? So I'm gonna listen. Go ahead and say something. Live? Oh, I need to get you your sound.
Something.
Here we go. I didn't have the desktop sound up. I was thinking, what if we need music or something? So
Isn't that from,
I'm gonna listen.
called?
Go ahead and Robot Chicken.
Yeah. Or Family Guy, right?
Oh, yes. Here we go. I didn't have the desktop sound up. I was thinking... Okay, sounds great. Yes, sound golden.
Cool.
It's so funny because, like, I have 2 viewers, which might be you and me.
I think that's who it is.
I always get, like, a little excited when I get, like, one person. It's not like Volume where Dimitri's like, oh, wow, we have 2,000 people coming from a concert that just let out. All right.
The latency's not too bad, though. But I was getting having the Twitch audio and then listening to the video chat was a little confusing. Can you hear me fine? Am I loud enough?
You're wonderful. You're
perfect.
Heads and shoulders over bad earpod zooms that I'm not a fan of seeing and hearing.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Very cool. Star Wars talkie. All right. Let's go live on Facebook. And then I will check out. Yep, there we go.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
That's cool. Got a nice little stretch. I have no audience, so this will be something we'll just have to...
That's fine. I mean, like, that's not really the point right now. It's just kind of just doing it and seeing, what it's like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. We are live. So,
Cool.
hi folks. This is a sourpuss Monday. I'm kidding. That's a bad way to start a show.
Not a bad way to start a Monday, though. Pretty
Okay,
accurate.
you got a case of the Moon Days? I'll do. Yeah, started as a copyright character like Goofy, and then gets sued by Disney, which is where Star Wars is.
Yeah.
So like, I guess they said if you say "What up, guys" or "How you doing, guys" on the algorithm, like that doesn't get as good as like "What's up, you beautiful bastards." Even though I don't like that as much. But no,
You
like
don't like Beautiful Bastards as much as What Up, Guys?
I mean, as far as like a different intro. But then again, there's like cringe stuff we could do, like may the force be with you. Hello,
Yeah.
I'm your host, Obi-Wan Pahlavi. I'm your. If I was Korean, I'd be like, I'm Obi-Wan Bulgogi. Yes. No. These are bad jokes.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, what are we doing here? Who am I? Who is? It's weird. I'm normally used to saying, "Who is our guest?" or hearing Dimitri in my head saying, "Who's our
Yeah.
guest?"
Yes. Get Demetrius in my head.
Yeah. Well, this here's Matthew Morey.
Hello. How's it going?
He's a tech with me on the Keeg from 2 years ago, and he's graduated to composer of several theme songs.
Yes.
In our midnight shows and the Keeg's Adventures into Darkness.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you make it happen, and I don't have that musical discipline or talent.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I don't have that much talent either.
No. Don't sell yourself short.
I could kind of slop my way through and, kind of make it sound good.
Hey, I've heard like mouth trumpet on podcasts. I've heard like people slapping their thighs with spoons. You can play. You got a pedal. You got a guitar and a bass, right?
Mm-hmm.
Both electrical.
Yeah. Couple
So
pedals.
yeah. And you are a Star Wars fan.
Yes, definitely.
I think that's there's no huge gateway. Like there's no bar into being a Star Wars fan. And
Yeah.
there's
It
definitely
depends who you talk to, but
no. When I say fan, just a fan, not like the purity test, the gatekeepers.
Right.
Like because there's just so much out there. You could be a comic book fan. You could be a trilogy, prequel, sequel, squeakquel. You could just
They
be a
got you
fan of the
covered.
Porgs.
Whatever your vice is, they can bring you in.
Yeah. And you could just be bitter. You could be an X fan. So, maybe this isn't the podcast for you. I actually was kind of over it after the prequels. So,
Yeah.
I don't need to be saying yippee and watching my mom die and letting the Jedi Council.
Now that's pod racing.
Woohoo! Oh, man. It's so much. For me, it's so much cringe because it's kind of like. It's like when someone's pandering to you. Like, I don't know if you've ever watched a kiss ass, or someone try to be like, hey, do you remember Greedo? Well, he dies. He's nobody important, but let's look at him as a kid.
As a baby. Yeah, as a kid.
And then let's watch him be the exact same person he was, just on like a Muppet Baby scale.
Yeah. I forgot they added him in there.
Yeah.
He's like one of Anakin's friends, right? At the pod race.
Yeah. Again, I hate this whole. It's not I hate, because that's a dark side aspect. No, it's just. It's too convenient. It's too contrived. I think that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And it loses that specialness of, like the Force dyad with Rey and Ben Solo.
Yeah.
Where they just like, oh man, this is so impossible. We reach across the universe and we can feel each other. Same with like Luke and Leia feeling each other on Bespin Cloud City, where he's he just got defeated by Vader. He's hanging on the bottom, and Leia's like, he's at the bottom of the city, and
Mhm.
Lando's like, how do you know that? All right, let's go get him.
All right, all right. Yeah. No, we were saying like contrived and everything. It's kind of like it reminds me of like those workplace dramas, not necessarily the comedies, because none of that's believable, but
Mhm.
like the dramas. I don't know if the dramas are believable. Whatever. That's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is like the hospital shows, right? Like, so when I go to a hospital, is it like every doctor's hooking up with each other?
I just like the idea. It's
Like,
like, I lost 5 kids today from that school bus fire, but
so
you smell wonderful.
yeah. So it's like, is everybody that's ever like important in the original trilogy like know each other from before? It's like, I don't know. It's just kind of makes it silly, goofy. Reminds me of a soap opera.
No, totally. And then I think there's an issue with the people that are dismissive, like the apologists. So
Yeah.
they'll be like, "Oh, it's for kids," and I'm like, "Anything's for a kid." Like,
Right.
there's a video of a little kid on like a Saudi Arabian airliner. He's like 5, and he's in the cockpit, and he's showing the pilot not only what every switch and lever does, but he tells, like, he's like, "Hey, you could probably fly this plane if you wanted to," you know. And it was
Yeah.
super impressive. And like, that's the thing about kids is they for the most part, if they have like the room to like be confident, they don't know they're making they make mistakes fast and they learn quickly. And I think you can throw a lot at kids, so that excuse of, well, it's a kids movie, and then the younglings get slaughtered by Anakin in Return of Revenge of the Sith. It's like, yeah, I don't know what you mean by for kids, you know.
Yeah. 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 I agree. You throw some fart jokes in there and say, "Ah, it's for kids. Doesn't matter."
Yeah.
Don't call out the fart jokes. But yeah, like you said, like the apologists, dismissing valid criticisms,
Yeah.
not a good
Now,
thing.
unfortunately, like the 70s and 80s, not unfortunately, we live in different times. The
Mhm.
original trilogy was 70s and 80s sci-fi. And also 70s and 80s like gender norms. Like, this was the anti-hero, and it's kind of nice, kind of teasing, kind of like the Han Solo is the like Bruce Willis of sci-fi, that
Mhm.
Moonlighting was kind of like a show in the 80s. I'm 40, by the way, so I remember that. But yeah, like you don't want a I hate using this term. Actually, you can't use this term on Twitch. The S
Oh,
term. It's not a pimp. I can say pimp, but I can't say that. So
oh, well, I'm lost, man.
oh, you don't know that word? Okay, okay. Um
Pimp.
it's like Stimpy, like Ren and Stimpy, but not
Okay.
with a T or a Y.
Oh, that word.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah, I
know what
can't
you're
use
talking
it.
about.
Uh
Oh, I
yeah,
didn't
but
know
you
that.
can't be, I guess you can still say beta. But yeah, like the loser romantic, like, hey, that's my Wexley, my Snap Wexley voice.
Step Wexley.
Yeah, as a kid, hey Bones, come over here.
That sounds a lot like that audiobook, man. It's
I've
like
listened to so many hours of it.
3 books worth, man. Jeez.
I read.
Jeez.
Oh, so yeah, the horror. Look at me get off on tangent. The whole point of this show in the beginning was Matt decided, hey, do you want to do a book club, a Star Wars book club? And I was like, yeah, I want to know what happened in the aftermath of the trilogy to the First Order. And so I was like, cool, I'll do that.
Mhm.
Um, I don't have a Kindle, or no, I thought listening to the books would be easier, but I don't know. It's definitely
Yeah,
different.
it is. It is different. So I read the first one and then I listened to it again. Or I listened to it the first time, but the second time taking in the story
Hmm.
through an ebook or audiobook.
Yeah.
And it's very different. I found myself like dozing off, or not dozing off, just kind of like wandering off for a
Hmm.
couple minutes at a time. And I don't know, was that because I wasn't interested in the audiobook, or maybe just because I'm already familiar with the story. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
there's that too. I think for me, it's just like I know some people can binge watch shows, and
Hmm.
I don't know how much of that show they really comprehend. You know, how much
Yeah.
did they soak it in and how much detail. So like after watching weekly midnight releases and then having time for it to bake, to have ideas and opinions on the
Right.
show, I kind of get this like nice hyper focus, and then I can go and research what other people are thinking. And I
Hmm.
love that like collectivism for the Wanda Vision show and for Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And now when I've returned to watching Netflix shows like Shadow and Bone, uh, Love Robots, and something else, Monsters, I can't sit through, like I have to watch a prepare my own block, like television back in the day. You'd watch, you know, must see TV, and it'd be
Hmm.
something different but similar for that 3 hour span, you know, and then Law and Order, and then Jay Leno, and then Conan O'Brien. And that was my babysitter instead of doing homework in the 90s.
Same. Same here.
But
Yeah. Yeah. I've
um,
noticed kind of binging. Start to like not like I tried binging the Clone Wars again before the Bad Batch. Like I
mhm.
don't know, like a month before the Bad Batch came. I'm like, I don't think I can do this, man. I can't just sit here and just barrel through these episodes uh, for multiple hours a day.
Have you
It's just
done one full watch through?
yes, I have.
Okay.
It was a while ago,
It's an old series,
yeah,
you know.
and there's just I don't know. I like when the seasons are kind of short, and
Hmm.
from Clone Wars the seasons are a little long, so there's a lot of I don't want to say filler, but I mean I guess that's what I mean.
Yeah.
And um, I don't know. It's just kind of hard to sit through it like
Yeah.
like that. It's much more fun to watch it. The week's coming, and you kind of remember it. I mean, we kind of think back to old episodes of sitcoms, and I have a easy time remembering like individual episodes when they
Hmm.
come up. But when I'm thinking of like a show like Lost in Space on Netflix, like I couldn't tell you. I couldn't pick out an episode like and tell you exactly what one episode's about.
Sorry, I think did it crash?
Oh,
Like, what's up, you beautiful bastards? I think even though
oh,
I don't like that as much, but no,
you don't
like,
like beautiful?
hold on,
Looks like Twitch is still going.
is Twitch still going? Okay, because my let's see, maybe I gotta look at my Streamlabs real quick. It still says we're still streaming.
Yeah, Twitch is good.
Yeah,
I don't know about Facebook.
Twitch is on. Yeah, I think Facebook's. I think it's still go. Yeah, we're still going on YouTube, and we're still
Okay,
going on Twitch. So that's fine.
cool.
It's somewhere because
Yeah.
I didn't record it. Um, wait, why don't I see anything? Uh-oh. YouTube. There we
We're
go.
still
We're
good.
going on Twitch. So that's okay. Okay, cool. All right. Where were you? Where were we?
Yeah, no, just the binging and everything, and
Hmm.
yeah, it's a little nice to go through week by week. Um, with the Bad Batch now, I'm not like trying to shoot through the episodes. Like the most recent cartoon I watched besides Bad Batch was Resistance, man, Star Wars Resistance. I'm like, I would watch like 3 episodes at a time, and then I'd be like, I'm done watching this for another 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, I get that, man. There's there's a thing about the prequels where the aliens, okay, aside from the fact they were racist caricatures, let's like
Right.
divorce
Yeah.
that part. They were very animated and way too extra. You know, it was never just like, "Hi, my name's Phil. I'm a giant slug creature." It was always like Boss Nass being like, "Hey, blah 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 blah."
Oh my god.
And like it's okay to have like a thing but it's another thing for it to be so distracting towards the plot
Yes.
that you just
Yes.
like, I hate saying, but like, screw you. Like, I'm going to flip this table. Stop doing this.
Every time I watch like Phantom Menace with somebody who's like never really seen it before, or it's been like a long time since I've seen it. Whenever that happens, what's Boss Nass, whatever his name is,
Yeah, boss
when he
nails.
does the thing, like never fails. Like the person will look at me like, going, "What the hell?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like, are you serious?
Because because when Disney Plus came out, I was like, oh sweet, I'm gonna watch, the Star Wars trilogy, and the prequels. We'll do it chronological because I'd never watched it that way. And Jar Jar shows up so early, and it's just too much.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh hi, so many questions. And like, it's not. I mean, the fact that they first land on the not banking clan, the separatist ship.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
To make negotiations and then like trap them in their room.
yeah, and then you see like their super speed powers, their ability to hold their breath, even though later, when you go to the Gun Sunken City, they have like like breathing devices.
It's very like Batman animated series. He's always
Yeah,
got some gadget he needs right at that moment.
no belts. Just it's all in their sleeves or somewhere. Um, and I think they introduced like a city and aliens, and we're trying to discover like how the Jedi work, but you don't you don't get a feel for what we learn later from talking about how the Jedi function. So a lot of times people are like, well, the Jedi are all warriors. And like, not really. They're kind of like a neighborhood watch, like a very religious neighborhood watch. Uh,
So a neighborhood watch.
huh?
So a neighborhood watch
So
then.
yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah. No, no, but I mean, they would do like diplomatic stuff, but they were never, yeah, they're not never soldiers or warriors. They were,
Yeah.
you know, they're. I mean, the fact that it's a religion that can produce results, and those results are the Force, and the Jedi weren't like malicious about it. Um,
Right.
and only a few of them fought. And then like all their stuff that they did do was in during the High Republic or the Old Republic, or sorry, it's the Old Republic, the High Republic, and then the Republic. Is that?
I think so. There's a High Republic, and um, then you go into
I played Knights of
right
the Old
here.
Republic, and yeah.
The High Republic, The Fall of the Jedi, Reign of the Empire, Age of the Rebellion, New Republic, Rise of the First Order.
Oh, okay, okay,
Right
okay.
here, man.
Oh yeah. All right. Sick. Um, but yeah, that was when there was like a higher Sith population, and the Sith hadn't been around, and so yeah, what they were doing that was kind of boring was meeting with the Separatists, and you know, they they were just not action packed.
Yeah,
you know.
well, they weren't very intimate. I guess they weren't. They didn't really have like a personal feel. I mean, I guess you kind of had something going on with Padme and and Anakin, even though it was
Hmm.
like cringy. But um,
Yeah.
the other two trilogies, more or less, have really embraced like characters now they interact with each other, and
Hmm.
um, it seems a lot more focused on them as opposed to what's going on outside.
Yeah. I. It's just a lot of flash and substance and the technical parts, but they didn't capture what the original trilogy captured, and that's people kind of like extras being extras, but not extra. That's very wordy. But I always liked it. Like the Force of Endor fight scene was the rebels. It was just a bunch of Force commandos, and then they
Mm.
would like get picked off, or like all the soldiers in Rogue One. They're kind of like, oh crap, but they're still kind of like just doing their thing. Whereas in the in the prequels, it was just like every Jedi is doing poses, they're doing spins and flips. Jango Fett's all flashy. Like, did I go to Cirque du Soleil?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
yeah, I don't know. I'm being
very stylized, I mean, and there's a place for that, right? Like I'm not gonna talk down to anybody who likes that and enjoys the prequels for what they are. It's just it's not that interesting to me.
Well, the Mandalorian though, like that is very painful, sloppy fighting,
Yes.
Yeah. And that's just way more engaging as a viewer. Because
it really is.
I'm not just like, oh, it's magic. It's like, no, he is dying and IG-88 has to fix him, but he can't take his mask off. And then IG-8 or no.
Right.
IG-7?
IG-11?
11. Thank you. Yeah. I'm so used to calling him 88, but yeah.
I went right by me.
Yeah, IG-11. But yeah, it's just stuff like that. And like the robot human relationships, they're interesting in Star Wars,
Yeah.
Because the prequels were kind of like they're calling them a slur, clankers, and we really got off topic. We're supposed to talk about the Bad Batch, but
I know. It's okay. I'm just kind of going with it. We're just riffing is good.
Yeah. It's the whole like, well, Paul, I don't think we're going to go over an hour. We're at 18 minutes. We haven't even touched episode 1 of Bad Batch. I'll bring it back to that though. So we saw a little bit of Bad Batch in season 8 when they were introduced, and they're basically defective yet highly specialized clone troopers. You have Tracker, Wrecker. Do you know the other guys?
Crosshair, and what's his name? Tech? I forget his name.
Probably Tech. And then one of the clones, is it Echo?
Echo, yeah. He wasn't an original part of the Bad Batch. He joined after
being injured and more cyborg.
Yeah, well, he was like, I'm just kind of forgetting, but he was like, he was frozen or something. He was being held prisoner, and they broke him out.
Right.
And, like someone was doing experiments on him or something.
Yeah. That's right. And that's interesting because they normally just toss their clones. Clones were built to be disposable.
Right.
Which
they definitely are in that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we see Order 66 in the first episode of Bad Batch. And we see a Padawan and a Jedi. Her name is really funny, and I don't want to like mess it up because it just feels like I'm being like insensitive. It starts with a B and it has like a lot of syllables, which still is insensitive, but that's the best way I could describe it. I mean, you can look it up.
And that Padawan, I'm trying to look at what his name is. I mean, I know who it is. It's Kanan Jarrus, right? He becomes Kanan Jarrus. Mm-hmm. But his name's Caleb. Was it Doom or Dune?
Oh, yeah. I thought it was like Cara Dune's.
Doom. Oh, it's Doom, not Doom.
Oh, okay, okay.
Well, yeah, cool. Yeah, that would have been interesting. They're related. Everybody's related. Yeah. So that was kind of cool. I saw that. It's like you see, like little
Kanan,
little kid with Freddie Prinze Jr.'s voice. Mm-hmm. a little weird. I didn't read the Kanan comic book, but I guess there's some differences between that event in the comic book and on the TV show. Mm-hmm. Does that bother you? Are you cool with like them like deviating from that? Is that something that's like really going to keep you up at night, or are you just kind of like, whatever?
As a comic book fan of just like regular Marvel and DC comics, I'm always prepared for every new creator or every cook in the kitchen to have their own little, way of telling the story. And at this point in Star Wars, I'm not that much of a stickler. Sorry.
No,
having said that, it just depends on what they do. So if like someone that was dead, that was obviously dead, comes back to life, like Palpatine.
Oh, okay. For Boba Fett.
Well, Boba Fett's
I guess.
interesting because he was, trapped in the pit of Tarkoon, you know, and that's different because that Beskar
Yeah.
steel, baby.
Yeah.
He's also
So
got a jetpack he could fix down there. So who knows? Maybe
he's
there's a
got 1,000 years of being digested to figure it out, right?
yeah, and it's not like the sand skiff that was the sand barge and skiffs didn't like fall down into the pit and like make it throw up or whatever, have indigestion. I forget how he got out in the original
Legends or whatever.
Legends.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
no idea. Well, so I was thinking about that. Like, you know, you're saying that they kind of might make things a little different based on who the creator is. Yeah, like I can see that with like the Marvel movies, right? But the Marvel like MCU is separate from the comic books, right? It's not the same continuity.
Yes, there are definitely different universes, or yeah.
Yeah. So like the MCU is like its own thing, and it's not really relying on like it takes inspiration from the comics, but like what
Hmm.
happens in the comics doesn't happen in the MCU. But that's
Right.
not like with what it is with Star Wars. With Star Wars, it's like it happens
Well,
in the books. If it happens in the comics, if it happens on a cartoon, like it's canon.
so when I say comics, I just meant just the comics. I didn't mean MCU.
Uh,
So,
oh, okay.
because like it does go to different creative teams when you read a comic book because it's just the longevity and tradition. Um, something that's like modern that isn't modern. Um, I can't think of anything right now off the top of my head. Red Wing is now robot. I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah.
he's like he used to be just a bird that he talked to, that Falcon talked to. It's kind of weird. But like modern sensibilities dictate, well, a bird would have to like fly super high where birds wouldn't normally fly, or
Yeah.
be in a firefight, or just be in like subarctic temperatures where most birds wouldn't last, you know. Just stuff like that. For realism.
Hmm.
Back to Star Wars though. Yeah, so I've had my canons like changed over and over again too. So it's not like a huge deal. And like I said, I don't have as much invested. Star Wars isn't
Yeah,
my
yeah.
identity. I don't have hard rules on the Sith manual, and like is every Sith a freaking, satanic worshiper? And the truth lies is like, no, some of them really are just like passionate people that, had a hard time growing up and they just want to make it in the world. But they're not
Yeah.
bounty hunters. They just happen to be touched with the Force, you
Hmm.
know? Uh, or it's just their society's built like that. Like the Sith witches, you know? I don't think they were raised in an area where they had like malls. They're just like in a swamp doing Sith witch stuff.
Growing up in the swamp sounds pretty rough.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Shrek makes it look easy, but that's one ogre. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it doesn't really bother me too much. Like if there's gonna be some differences in the Kanan comic book, like I guess the opening scenes was at night in the Kanan comic book and it's at the day here, and like the Bad Batch weren't there, and then in the book, I don't know. There's the comic book. There's some variation.
yeah, yeah. They were
What happened in
talking
the
to the
show.
clones, and there was a fire, and the clones were like, "What are you talking about? We'd never hurt you." And like literally, like they called it, and then Order 66 happened, and then it just ruined the mood completely. You know.
Yeah, so it doesn't really bother me too much.
I mean, look, The Walking Dead. So I really love the comic choices, but I understand why they did the show choices. Because one of Andrea and then the old guy that lived in the camper, her and her sister were like both screwing that guy in the comics. And they had like a 50-year or 40-year age difference. And also, it's super kind of creepy and unconventional in a lot of ways. But in the show, Andrea even says like, "What, you think I'd ever sleep with you?" And like I was like,
Wink,
"Yeah, that
wink.
makes sense." It's like with capes. Capes are not practical and they look super goofy. Like Superman's like underwear on the outside. Yeah. Super weird in real life.
Hmm.
But like on a cartoon, everything pops. Like the colors pop, everything makes
Yeah.
sense. It's animated. That's more digestible. Um, so yeah, I get like those types of changes. You know.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how the Bad Batch starts. Starts
Hmm.
off like that. We kind of see Crosshair start to pull away from everybody. Right. He wanted to
Hmm.
follow orders and kill the Padawan, while everyone else kind of like Hunters, especially, was like kind of helping him out.
Yep. It's nice to see
Cool.
them pit against each other too,
Yeah.
because their skill sets are very specific. You know, and Crosshair does miss, which is kind of refreshing. Because what
Yeah.
if he didn't? That squad is done.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, um, and like the team itself, Wrecker is big dumb guy, super fun. Tech, he's a little bit flawed in that he doesn't focus on like necessity. He focuses on like one task very closely.
Yeah.
You know, it's both a strength and weakness. And then Tracker is very aware, but he's also like, what's the word? It's kind of like unsure, I guess. You know,
Okay.
because like he's not perfect, but he's definitely the leader for a reason. And I think it's because he's like a scout, like a tracker. You know,
Yeah.
he senses
Yeah.
things more.
I mean, being a tracker, you can help lead people,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
like literally lead them to whatever they're trying to do. So
He's feeling his way out. He doesn't have like hard and fast rules.
and
He improvises. So,
he's he's supposed to look like Rambo too, right? Like
yep.
that's not just me saying that. Yeah.
No, no. The red headband is a dead
It's like
giveaway.
he's Rambo.
Yeah. Um, and Crosshair is just a freaking badass. With an
Yeah.
inhibitor chip, that makes it. And then Echo is their, um, it's kind of
He's
like
like
an R two
yeah,
D
I was gonna
two.
say he's like an R2 unit, right?
Yeah,
Plugs into a computer and everything.
yeah.
Uh,
They're all kind of inspired by the original group from Clone Wars when they're doing the training. Uh, it's Fives. Who else is in that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
They kind of sucked. They couldn't pass the clone exam.
I don't know. It's been
I
so long.
know it's been a while.
Fives. I don't remember the original names.
Yeah, I want to say Echo was part of that too. Fives
I think it
Echo.
was
I don't think Cody or
Cody.
Cody was part of them.
I just recognized the name Cody.
Oh, Commander Cody. Commander Cody. But yeah, yeah, yeah. And the reason I bring it up is because Grand Moff Tarkin
Hmm.
uh, takes him in because we're introduced to Grand Moff Tarkin. He wants to get the clones out. We're done with the clones. We need to have live troops. And he's like, all right, let's test these guys. And then they, do their exercises
Yeah.
on hard, and then they set it to lethal.
Live ammunition.
Live ammunition will suffice.
Oh, side note, like anytime they want to bring in Grand Moff Tarkin, I'm totally down. It's like he's so fun to watch, man. Just so feel so nervous around him, you know?
Yeah, 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 yeah. And that's the cool thing about him as a character is, yeah, this is the birth of the Imperials as we know it.
Right.
You know, very
Yeah, and we kind
sharp.
of get to see like you're saying the more what's the word, hardcore, intense, ruthless type of training and progression, right? Like
Hmm.
going switching to live ammunition, like people can die. Like they almost encourage that too, you know? It's like if they die, they're not good enough, so they can move on.
Yeah, which is interesting because I'm wondering if he ever made his cadets do that, you know, to get the best of the best. Which I've always kind of had a problem with, like real soldiers. Like, how many will break their ankle, and then in boot camp they're like, well, you just got to keep running. So you have this guy hobbling, creating more and more like permanent damage, just so
Yeah.
that maybe they finish, and then they what walk with a limp for the rest of their life as a Marine or whatever, or a SEAL. It's like, okay, I guess. And then they do a mission where not all of them come back, and all that money and training and time is kind of just like, okay, well,
Just a waste.
just a waste. You cost about a quarter of a Tomahawk missile, so, as a soldier. So, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a very sustainable method of of like governing or running an army.
Well, it's
Eventually, you're gonna run out of people.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, well, only if you can have a nice supply of tip-top shape, smart athletes that don't have any of the things that disqualify you, like poor vision, flat feet, diabetes. Like, if you don't have an insulin shot in the middle of a shootout, there's no drug. Well, there might be a drugstore, but it's a war zone. So, plus last time I checked, it's not the most popular thing to do after high school.
Oh, go into the military?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's a choice. It's something you can do. Is it called the Galactic Empire Federation? What is Galaxy of Planets?
What do you mean at this point, or
Just in general, because
I think it's just the Galactic Empire, at least unofficially. I don't know if it has a longer title, like
it used to be the
some
Republic.
countries around the world are like that. They have like
Yeah.
these really long official titles, but we don't refer to them as that.
Right.
I think it's just Galactic Empire.
Okay. I'm so used to like Galactic Federation of Planets or something.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know.
But like, so the original trilogy, when Alderaan is destroyed with one fell swoop, it's this giant event. It's, I hate saying it, but it was their 9/11. Like, super game changer. They can destroy entire planets with only one moon-sized base. That's super horrific. And then we saw in the prequels, the Armada and soldiers and robots. And now we are like, whoa, they have a robot army. And the Genoshans are the ones that are, building them.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Rogue One, they have a really large cannon and they shoot. It's not Jakku. What was that planet called? With Saw Gerrera.
Oh, Judah?
Judah? Yeah. Well, they blow
I
up that
just shoot 'em.
surface like a city size explosion. And then in Force Awakens, they shoot 7 planets with a planet-sized sun. That was the original one in the canon. Was it would like suck the energy from a sun and then shoot planets, right?
In
Force Awakens.
New Hope? Oh, Force Awakens, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, drained the energy from the sun, and then it would fire the laser from Starkiller Base.
Yeah, Starkiller. And I was just like, wait, I thought you guys are trying to conquer these people. What are the spoils if you destroy several planets? You lose resources, you lose those valuable troops you say you want. And that's why I think that was frustrating for me when I was watching it. I was like, well, what's your end game? I don't know your plan.
Right. Well, they kind of they destroyed like the Republic, right? Like planets that were like the center of the Republic, right? Like was Hosnian Prime was one of them or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the new Coruscant type of planet.
Yeah.
I guess fear and shutting down your enemies. That's the only thing I can think of.
Well, but that was the first in the trilogy. And then we get to, the Rise of Skywalker, and it's like, every one of these Imperial Star Destroyers has a planet killer. All 10,000 trillion billion. Skadillion.
Yeah.
On top of that, I'm going to get Rey to replace me. Nope, change my mind. Both of them are going to fight to kill me, and then I'll have two Emperor Palpatine. Never mind. I'm going to drain the souls, and then be young Palpatine, sexy Palpatine. Palpatine is shaking off the dust, is ready to mingle and dingle. Like...
You can't kill me, and unless you cross your lightsabers like this and launch my lightning back at me.
Oh no, they touch tips! Ah! Tip Walker. Yeah, so I was just like, the heightening is not that important. Thank goodness, Kylo Ren and Rey, and they kind of have their turmoil, and I think Luke too. Luke and Kylo Ren. I like. Both of them just being at odds with each other, and that Snoke had already gotten to Kylo. And this is my issue about comprehension and the fandom menace, is that when someone misinterprets something, but they believe they're really right about something, they get super like defensive and angry and like, no, you're the guy that wasn't paying attention. And it's been explained many, many times by our friends on the TikTok space that Luke has the way he remembers the events. Ben Solo has the way he remembers the events, and then what really happened. Yeah. And that's kind of too much information for for a lot of people. The way it was just delivered. And it's unfortunate.
Well, yeah, and maybe also you kind of see what you want to see type of thing,
Yeah.
I can see if you're disappointed with kind of the direction that Last Jedi went. You can look for stuff and say, see, this is why this movie is bad, because this isn't like correct. This isn't how this would go down, and this is how it shouldn't go down. And you kind of do the justification and try to figure it out.
Yeah. Also, too, like, what is it about previews that people don't know what they're getting themselves into?
Well, what do you mean? Like
when a bunch of like very angry Star Wars fans, it's like, this movie has a woman as a lead and a black guy as a lead, and it's like, did you not see the previews? Do you not understand what's going on? Yeah.
The preview for Last Jedi, Luke says, "This is not gonna go the way you think." I was like, I saw that. I was like, oh. A lot of people are gonna be expecting something they're not gonna get.
You just did that like an old man. It's like, yeah. You see, son, he said it. Yeah. This is not. Lots of surprises.
Okay. Well, anyway, back to the Bad Batch.
I know. It's so easy to get off on tangents.
It is, like all this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, so what's after the? Because I haven't seen it since the day it aired.
They beat the training course,
right?
And then
the whole reason they're doing that is because what I sent you today, what they're called,
Kaminoans.
Kaminoans.
Yeah.
Tarkin was trying to like tell him, like, we're gonna go a different way. We're gonna end our contract, and they're like saying, no, please, let's stay, right? And they want to prove, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
So it's kind of an interesting thing, seeing like what those guys are gonna do after they move on from the clones. Like, what do they do?
Yeah. And they also sent them on a mission to to kill Jedi or defectors.
Saw Gerrera and his crew, right?
Yes, and it was actually refugees.
Yes,
from surrounding planets.
He was trying to help them off, right?
And then, unfortunately, the non-inhibitor chip Bad Batch escapes, but Crosshair. This is episode 2, I think. Crosshair's chip gets like recharged.
Oh, and like intensified, right?
Intensified, and then they take out the first batch of stormtroopers that are human and not clones. I mean, clones are technically human, but yeah.
Right, non-clones.
Non-clones. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they go down there and they yeah, they really kill those people. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of graphic. Even like you don't see a guy set on fire, but you see a blowtorch because they have a
Right.
flame
Yeah.
trooper, and yeah, you see a. I don't know why, but they always use Twi'leks as like someone's wife, you know, or some
Yeah, they do.
civilian. I
And
mean,
she's not. She's like a slave too,
yeah, yeah,
which is kind of
it's.
weird.
I think that's just part of the universe, though. Like,
Yeah.
even though Bib Fortuna, man, he looks like a vampire, like blood red, like an albino and a vampire. I, sorry, here.
Day one of Wunga.
Nibaka Chewbacca Chan Daytoa. um, but but yeah, they just murder him, and then one of the human stormtroopers. Oh, by the way, spoilers.
Yeah. I think this is episode 3. I think this is the most recent one, right? That this happens.
Oh yeah, episode 2 was when they go to the farm.
Yeah, and they meet up with Cut or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Cut, who also his chip was not working. He did not
Right.
order
Yeah.
66, so he has a wife and
Yeah.
kids.
I mean, it definitely seems like they're telling us that because the other clones are acting like almost like robots. It's kind of weird. Like they're like laser focused on one thing, not really paying attention to nuance or whatever. Very, I'm following the orders type of thing. But Cut's not like that.
Right.
Neither the rest of the batch.
Yeah, I don't know, it's weird how that programming works because when they're in the mess hall, they still feel like clone troopers in that, you know, they have mannerisms, they tease each other. They're upset about their rank.
Mhm.
But yeah, when it comes to just off switch onto ready to kill, which is
Yeah.
scary because there are sleepers. This is based on like real sleeper cells where you would have like a Manchurian, like a Russian agent masquerading as an American, and you could like
Mhm.
whisper some words, and then that would activate that splinter cell. And I don't know if I'm using the right words, but I'll pretend I do.
Manchurian Candidate. I saw that movie.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
The Winter Soldier. That's essentially what happened. Is just like they're deep programmed, you know. But yeah, that's super scary.
So I'm sorry. So where were you going with the? So you still had kill the refugees. It's really graphic.
Oh yeah,
And then,
so yeah, one of the stormtroopers protests, and then Crosshair points a gun at him, and he kills him.
Lets them have it.
And then that's when they kill the remaining civilians who are captives, which is a war
Yeah.
crime in real life. Like we're not
Mhm.
supposed to do that. And
Right.
unfortunately, yeah, they've done it. It was a horrible thing in Ho Chi Minh in Vietnam, where the soldiers were just going crazy and they had to take a helicopter and fire rounds on the ground and stop the soldiers from killing more, civilians. But so yeah, that's that episode. And we just like, okay, Crosshairs is cold blooded. This latest episode actually is when they go on the moon and they hunt the weird dragon thing.
Yeah, the little dragon thing.
Yeah, wait.
And
Yeah,
and what's her name?
we haven't even talked
Omega.
about her. Omega.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Omega at all.
Yeah,
She's a pretty exciting character, don't you think? I like that there's some mystery with her, which is good. I mean, a lot of people are comparing her to Grogu. I've seen online, but we knew what Grogu was about. Like, there's no surprise, right? We knew he was gonna be force sensitive. We knew he was gonna show people whatever, do what he was gonna do. But I think there's a little more mystery with Omega and who she is, why she's important to the story, and what she's going to bring to the characters. I don't see this as like a complete carbon copy of the Mandalorian's kind of the early criticism I'm seeing between Hunter and Omega, kind of saying it's a lot like Mandalorian and Grogu. Um, but I don't know, because Omega's gonna be able to make her own decisions, and we kind of see that in the second episode when they're gonna send her off
Mm-hmm.
with Cut's family, and she decides not to. She risks her life coming back.
Yeah. Uh, so Grogu is nonverbal. That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Omega is a toddler. I think Grogu is an infant, and
Mm-hmm.
then, like, Grogu can walk and stuff, but definitely not to the levels of, climbing and running around. And
Yeah.
when Omega does something, it is a task that is savvy and applicable. Grogu is like raw power that is like magical and at the same time takes the life essence out of Grogu, you know. And
Yeah.
then Grogu is played for laughs when he's in the little thing. He's not the red wire, the other wire to your right.
Oh. Making those little noises.
Yeah. And he's a
Throwing
little
his hands
shit.
up.
He's also a little shit. He's like trying to fly,
Yeah.
push that button, you know.
I mean, I can see where they're drawing the comparisons, but
Me
I think
too. But it's
there's gonna
definitely
be
different.
there's gonna be an evolution of Omega that's gonna be more I don't know, a little more nuanced. And yeah, like you said, Grogu's nonverbal. I mean, we did see in the second season of Mandalorian that there was like a connection between Din Djarin and Grogu. But I just think we're gonna kind of see it a little more with these two. Maybe potential for like serious conflict. Like Grogu and Din Djarin don't really have like real conflict with each other. They kind of, I don't know. Din Djarin says, don't eat this lady's eggs."
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
about as far as they go, right?
Yeah,
So
pretty much.
we'll see.
Ahsoka Tano kind of talks to him, and Grogu is not a character in the sequels, whereas Omega might be somebody.
Oh, you mean in the movies, in the sequels in the movies, or
Yeah,
what do you mean?
somewhere else, sequels, movies. Because she is dressed a little like Mon Mothma, even though she would be
Well, yeah, Mon Mothma was definitely
not.
older, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, I forgot.
Well,
She was on. Yeah,
the clones age faster too.
it's true. Clone
They do have
Mothma.
accelerated. Well, their accents are different too.
That's true. That's
Uh,
true.
Omega's got an Australian accent, and Mon Mothma's got some British accent, right?
Yeah, I was just like the way she's dressed might signify something though, so I don't know. It's weird.
That little pendant she wears on her forehead, that's similar to the one that the Samoan female wears,
Mm-hmm.
right? Isn't it like the similar thing?
Yeah, it's like a circlet or something.
Yeah, and she took it off in the most recent episode and looked at it, so there's going to be some significance with it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It represents something, right? Maybe it's home for her. That's what it seems like right now, but
Yeah. Or I don't know. Honestly, I really don't know.
speculating.
Yeah, I'm super speculating. It's a little leftover WandaVision where, every
Yeah.
shadow is a clue. Every
Every shot is Mephisto.
yeah, every pore on their body is a secret code. You know. So, um,
Well, how do you feel about the Bad Batch so far? Are you into it?
well, they're fugitives. This is the fugitive. They're on the run. One of their guys betrayed them.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a really cool A team-ish. And the thing is, I did always super love Clone Troopers since the shorts from Adult Swim, when which they conveyed so much better than the movies. And it was a nonverbal episode of the clones. They kind of just like, I forgot what actually I don't even think he had a name. He just had blue stripes. He had the two little pistols, and he would just tell those guys to go this way and those guys to go that way. And I would just see them do their like trooper formations, and it was like super cool. And then the Bad Batch adds another layer, and Clone Wars added a layer, and even Rebels, You saw the retired, clone troopers.
Yeah, Rex and Cody was there too, right?
Yeah, and they were just talking about how the helmets just can't see nothing in them. Oh, these damn blasters, very ineffective. You know, super
Yeah.
great.
I like the show a lot. That first episode was really good. I thought like
Well,
it,
it's
it
long runtime.
yeah, it did kind of have a movie feel. I don't know if
No,
completely. It still felt like a cartoon television show,
well, so did Clone
but it
Wars
was
the
very
movie.
big. It was very cinematic, I
Yeah,
think. And I'm watching like on a 4K HDR display, and it looks beautiful.
hmm
So that's like the colors are great, the animation's great. Watching some of those old Clone Wars episodes, you can tell like they progressed a lot,
yeah.
like a lot. Like it looks really good. Um, and it's I liked it a lot. I like the second episode too. That was a little less well received in when I was looking through, but it was a character development episode and seeing
Yeah.
Hunter kind of learn he's maybe leaning toward like a fatherly figure role for Omega, and that just kind of made me optimistic for the future of the show.
Yeah. And then them having to like leave their home like that,
Yeah,
and you're seeing an occupation, where they're like everyone has a new code to get off this planet, and it's like, that's kind of the realities of what happens when you're under a fascist government,
mm.
which Imperials are fascist. You get more IDs, you get more, what's the word? Just more militant, you know, local militant governing bodies. Someone could die at any minute, and there's nothing you can do about it. So just get off that planet.
Yeah,
Trying to
do
think
whatever you
about,
can.
yeah. Trying to think about the episode, because like if they didn't have Wrecker, like they couldn't do a lot of stuff. Like like they're a unit, and it's kind of nice because like you're like wondering, well, what if it wasn't Crosshair? What if it was Tech? What if it was, like it's like no, if it had to be Crosshair to be the defector to make the show work, because a lot of
Yeah,
times you need all the other ones, and Omega it actually tags Crosshair like easily, saving Tracker's life. So yeah, you're right. It's definitely evolved. It's pretty good. Is it my favorite out of those 3 series? Because I haven't watched
oh, four if you include
yeah, Resistance.
Resistance.
I haven't
Oh
watched
man,
Resistance, so
you're not missing much.
I have Disney Plus, and that's the thing too. Like I I'm not the biggest fan of Pixar style, like the way they move in animation. I'm more into
Hmm.
like the message and stuff. So like Mitchell's versus the Machines, it had a lot of those beats, but I really liked the sentiment of the movie. So I was like, okay, I'll suffer through this. Clone Wars doesn't do that. The one thing that does bother me about Clone Wars is you hear every clone have the same voice, so
Yeah,
it gets
it does get
really
confusing. I mean that well, we saw it earlier today. And we were like, can't think of like the clones' names because there's not much of a distinction between them and like the names, and then they die.
yeah.
you know,
Fives,
and
Echo, Cody, Rex.
and when they
Yeah,
die, it's like, who was that? Was that the guy that did this? I
yeah.
don't remember.
They
Sort of
almost
thing.
recognize what's the guy's name on the planet? The farmer.
Cut.
Cut. Yeah, they almost recognize Cut, and then they have to go and investigate what's going on. But it's just like, man, you just got that face for the rest of your life. Grow a
Yeah,
beard all you want. you know.
face and the voice can't change those.
hmm Well, good job. You had us close the show at 56 minutes. Um, yeah. So we're gonna try to do this on Mondays at 7.
Yeah,
You know.
I mean the point is to of the shows to kind of talk about what's going on in the week in Star Wars. This is just kind of our first little go at it and kind of just riffing and talking about Bad Batch and see kind of get the feel for it, you know.
Yeah.
So next week we'll have another episode of the Bad Batch, right? I don't think there are any comics out. We didn't really talk about any of the comics today, but that's all right.
Well, what are you reading?
Right now I got The High Republic. I'm reading that, which I don't know. I'm getting prequel vibes from it. So, but this is me.
Prequelitis.
But I mean, it's not bad. It's just it seems yeah, I don't know.
What games have you played that are Star Wars?
I played a lot of Jedi Fallen Order. I haven't played all the way through.
I've just started, so
I played X-Wing versus TIE Fighter as a kid a little bit. I mean, as a kid, I don't know.
It's awesome.
I had no skills.
Who cares? It's an awesome game.
So I just kind of just flew around and shot at TIE Fighters or X-Wing. And that was it. I didn't really finish the missions or anything. Played through the Battlefront games. The newer ones, I played the multiplayer of the first one a lot. Second one, I played through most of the campaign. I haven't completely finished it. Republic Commando, played that for the original Xbox, which was fun. I dabbled in Squadrons a little bit. Haven't gotten too deep in that one.
It's interesting because you can just stop your ship and just be a turret in the sky.
Yeah.
You know,
well, it's pretty realistic too, right? Like, I feel like that's what these spaceships would actually be like.
Yeah. But I think there needs to be stuff to like not make that a thing, because I always wondered, because the whole thing about starfighters is they're supposed to act like planes and not like they're in space,
right?
So that they have to curve. So I think what should have happened is there's a gravity well that pulls you from, like, an Imperial Star Destroyer. One of the blockade runners does that. So even if you try to stop, it kind of like ruins, it disincentivizes you to stand still, or have the guns on those large ships actually hit you if you stop. I think that would be a good deterrent.
Yeah, I agree.
There you go. There you go, LucasArts or whoever makes those games. I've played a lot. I played Rebel Assault. I played all the Super Nintendo, but I only beat Empire Strikes Back.
The Super Star Wars?
Super Star Wars, Super Empire Strikes Back, and Super Return of the Jedi.
Isn't Empire Strikes Back like the hardest one? That's the one you beat?
It was so fun. It's the only one I had for rental for like weekends at a time.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, man. Yeah, so when I get to play as the other characters in the other games, I'm like not as good at it, but yeah.
Did you ever play Shadows of the Empire in Nintendo 64?
Absolutely. Holy crap, was that game hard.
My friend had it and I played it like whenever he brought it over or whatever. It was at his house, but I didn't own it. Didn't get to play through it, but I just remember thinking like, wow, this is so cool. It's 3D Star Wars shooter.
Yeah, I'm fighting Boba Fett. And it's like 5 polygons. And because the aspect ratio was weird, Dash Rendar was super long and skinny.
Oh, okay.
On the screen, and you'd like have to platforming on the N64 with a bad camera that doesn't follow you. It was rough. Castlevania on N64. If you hate yourself,
play that game.
Play the second one. That was supposed to be an improvement on the first one.
Oh, jeez.
It was a werewolf add-on character, but yeah, that game. Ugh. I watched a player on Twitch today for a charity. He was playing GoldenEye on PC, and it looks smooth. And like, when was the last time you played GoldenEye?
Oh, it's been a long time.
I think college might have been the last time I like actually tried to play, which was in 2000. I still remembered the first level.
He was Oh yeah, because you play it so many times.
Yeah, and that music. Oh.
Yeah.
Doom 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 doom. Oh
All
man.
right. Let's see, like bow, bow, do, boom, 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 bow, bow.
Doom 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 doom.
Yeah, starting in the bathroom, shooting the guy in the toilet. That was great. Oh, what a good game, man.
Bow, bow. Doom doom doom. Bow, bow. Yeah, so good. Anyways, yeah, let's wrap it up.
Yeah,
2
sounds
minutes
good.
over. I'm gonna end the stream. Thanks for joining us. This
Yeah.
is two guys, super chill. Like Star Wars, however you like. Just don't yuck someone's yum. Even
Yeah.
though I've been doing it this whole show. You're wrong. You're wrong.
You don't have to like what people like. Just, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
That's it, right? Or at least don't be mean.
Don't be mean. Yeah. So, all right. Cool.
All right, man.
I'll see